Right, so good day. I'm Rianru, and today I am going to be reviewing the Yi Zahn Tarantula X6 quadcopter. The Yi Zahn Tarantula X6 quadcopter is a toy grade quadcopter, but before I got this I actually looked around quite a bit, because one of the things that I really wanted from a quadcopter is fun, one, and two, availability of parts. I'm not a professional when it comes to the flying quadcopters, since I never actually flew one of these type of things until about 2 weeks ago. And I started off with small little quadcopters just to get the hang of controlling them. And when I got this one just before the weekend from GearBest, that process took 6 weeks, but not their fault. Our custom system held on to this for almost 4 weeks. But when it arrived, I was already in the hang of how to control, and I quickly realized that had I been a complete beginner, the Tarantula X6 might not be the first choice. It's not that it's hard to control, it is actually fairly easy, but it's very responsive. Its controls are very responsive as well. So any mistake you make, you're going to make a big mistake. That being said, when I did take this up the first time to just test the flight, etc., I did find that wind can affect it, but you can fight the wind very easily, provided you actually know how to fight the wind. You may overcorrect a little bit, and I was only flying in 40% control. So even at 40% I was able to control the wind, but you have to be very careful how far you move this. So my advice is get a small little one, one that you can fly indoors, etc., so that you can learn control of this quadcopter before you start off with a thing like this. My reasoning was why I got the Tarantula is also that it is a little harder. It's a little more sporty. It's a little harder to fly from what I've read and what I've experienced. And my reasoning behind getting it for that reason is that if I can fly this, I can fly anything. That it makes flying a commercial drone, to which I want to upgrade someday, a little easier. Even though there is GPS control and all those things, I want to know personally how to fly and how to control this one in difficult situations. Okay, now another thing about the Tarantula, when you do get it, don't just charge up the battery and start flying. The Tarantula has brushed motors, and brushed motors ideally should be run in. And if you don't know how to run in the Tarantula, I am going to put a link up here on this side to my video that I actually show how I ran in my Tarantula X6. And yes, it's a good idea to do that first. Right, another couple of nice things about the Tarantula is parts. Virtually everything, not virtually, everything on this on the Tarantula X6 can be bought separately. From the housing to the prop guards, the props, the motors, the flight control board, the receiver, everything on this thing you can buy separately. You can assemble an entire Tarantula X6 ground up. The same goes for the control, for the transmitter. Even this can be separately ordered. The batteries as well. So yes, that to me was a big plus, because I don't want to sit in a situation where I crash this thing and I cannot replace something on it. And that is fairly important. When I looked at a lot of the other products out there, there are some great quadcopters. The problem is parts. It's very hard to find parts for some of them. Okay, that being said, let us go ahead and do the battery. One thing I want to note about the battery is that it's a 1200 milliamp battery. They say it's got a flight time of 8 minutes, 7 to 8 minutes. However, I'm going to set on my cell phone a timer for 6 minutes, because then when the quadcopter is out there and my stop timer alarm sounds, I know I must bring it closer. It's time to land. Always preferably fly with a timer so that you know, and you get lost in flying and you don't want it losing power way out there. They say the control distance on this thing is 300 meters. I'm not going to take it out 300 meters. At 300 meters I can't see it. I don't want to take it out that far. A couple of things that I'm also going to be testing is the IOC or headless mode. IOC is Intelligent Orientation Control, how to set that up, etc. A lot of people have had problems with the IOC. What I think a lot of them do is they insert the battery and on a flat surface upside down, and it actually its orientation control actually picks up that upside down position and heading as its set heading. Now the easy way to do that apparently is to just do a gyro calibration, and that also resets the heading for your compass on this IOC control. So we're going to do that. Another thing on the battery is that once it's inside, there's a little screw here that you have to make sure that you put in. I've heard way too many stories. I've seen people comment in forums of theirs crashing because the battery fell out. And some of them have attached very expensive cameras to that. Now what I do, I'm just going to come a little closer so you can see. Yeah, I've got something we call Prestec, and I don't know what it's called in your country. There's various names, blue tack, etc. But if you look up Prestec, P-R-E-S-T-I-K, you should find out what it is. It's a gunky tack stuff. We also call it poster tack, and I use that to store my screw so that I don't lose the screw. I've also got a little bit of it stuck under the camera here just to sort out the wiggling of it. You might notice that my rubbers on my camera are quite a bit different, and that is because I did a bit of a modification to reduce the jello effect, which a lot of people have complained about on this camera. And for that you can just check on this side. I'm going to put up a link here for my video which explains how I did this modification. Alright, let's go ahead and put in the battery. Alright, as I am going to be putting in the battery, I also just want to make a note. Here in South Africa we do have regulations with regard to quadcopters. Now even though this quadcopter is a toy grade quadcopter, it does still fall under those regulations in terms of it being a toy grade copter and I'm flying as a hobby flyer. I have observed the protocol for safety. I am outdoors. I am 10 kilometers away, more than 10 kilometers away from my nearest aerodrome. We do have one, which is the reason I can't fly it a little closer to town. I had to actually go on Google Earth and find a field where I can actually come and fly, which is 50 meters away from the nearest public road, 50 meters away from the nearest building, 50 meters away from people and animals, etc. And it is safe. So I have observed all safety protocol. There is some websites where you can go look up all these regulations. If you really want to see all the regulations we have in South Africa, go to the CAA South Africa's website, which is caa.co.za, and you can look up there the regulations. Now fortunately the regulations aren't actually that strict when it comes to flying quadcopters from a hobbyist's perspective, or even toys. So yeah, the wind, there's a slight breeze which is picked up from the back here. It was a little earlier there as well, and the reason I am going to be flying in that direction is that should I lose some control or whatever in that direction, chances are it's going to be float a little more closer to me, because in there we have thorn bush. I suppose you can see some of it, and I don't want to be trudging through that, but if it crashes, that is where it's probably going to be ending up, and I'm going to be hunting for it in the bush. So yes, let me attach the camera, the battery bay door. Make sure that's seated properly. Okay, and it clicks forward. Right. Now I'm going to add my little screw. The screw does not need to be tightened very, very tight. It's just, you turn it in until it just catches. It's not going anywhere. You're not going to be flying for hours. Vibration is not going to knock it loose. So you don't need to over tighten it at all. Alright, first thing I'm going to do is I want to set that as my heading. Now I had this upside down when I put in the battery, so it's probably set its heading for IOC control in that direction instead of that direction, and it was upside down, so your controls will be mixed up. However, I'm going to test this immediately on takeoff. I'm just going to put that down that side, and I'm going to move this out of the way. That side. All right. Okay, let's see. Now, when you switch it on, what I'm going to do, and which I believe is a good practice, is to do a calibration of the gyros. Put on a flat level surface there, and to calibrate the gyros, first thing you do after switching on your transmitter is first center your trims. Now, I have set some here for testing. When you hear the long beep, you know you are now centered on that one. This one I know has moved a little to that side, I think it is. Oh, there it is, center there. Okay, everything is now centered. Alright, firstly we have to bind. And binding transmitter on, once up, once down. Now you have to change control rate to 100% in order to do the gyro calibration. So push once, it's at 60%, push again. It beeps 3 times, it's at 100%. Now you move the throttle and the control stick to the bottom left. Your quadcopter will start flashing quick. There we go, and it'll stop. Okay, and I'm going to switch this off again. Why switch off? That's me. I'm switching on again. I'm going to bind again, and immediately I am going to switch it to headless mode or IOC. It beeps constantly while it's doing that, and the reason I do that is so that I can immediately test headless mode or IOC control and confirm that it is working. Okay, I'm going to try and stay here so that you can see. And I have confirmation on headless. Forward, backward. Okay, I'm fighting a bit of a breeze, but I'm happy. Okay, I'm going to come down and just put it on the ground. Okay, I'm going to switch headless mode off. Okay, now the first thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to arm or start the video. Push the video button. Okay, and it shows a little video icon there. Don't know if you can see it there, but that tells us the video is recording. Right, quadcopter is ready, video is ready, and let's go see what it looks like up in the sky. Okay, and there she goes. You probably can't see it, but I'm going to be showing you the video from up there. Remember, I am fighting a bit of a breeze, so I'm getting a bit of a float and erratic, shaky behavior, but it's nothing serious. The wind is actually not that bad. I'm going to turn a little to the left.
n'y a point de fraude. Chaque objet se meut par sa propre volonté. Et ainsi se produit la plus prodigieuse des choses qui soit donnée à percevoir sur la terre comme dans l'univers. La sensation d'avoir pleinement mérité sa situation géographique invoque en chaque être la volonté d'un accomplissement ontologique. Car l'honneur que la création nous renvoie se répercute sur une population plus globale. Il est donc urgent de développer la réflexion paramétaphorique.
That, my friends, is the Yi Zahn X6. That is pretty awesome. I love it.
Alright, that's the Yi Zahn X6. Great fun to play with. It's, in my opinion, a nice little quadcopter. It's my first larger scale quadcopter. Very controllable, I like it. And the wind has picked up a little more than I'm comfortable controlling. I'm not an expert flyer yet, but I'm sure that in the coming weeks of practicing and playing, I'll get better and winds like this will not bother me. However, if it does become gusty, the winds vary, it does become hard to fly this kind of thing, and I wouldn't take a chance no matter how good I become, because your risk of damaging, losing control, flying into something which you don't want to be flying into, that risk is just too great. And even though it's not a very expensive toy, there's still money involved, and I don't want to throw away money. So that being said, guys, if you guys do decide to get one, enjoy it as much as I'm enjoying it. Cheers.